Welcome, welcome, welcome to Goddess Talk. Peace and blessings on this beautiful Thursday. My name is Balaji, and I have two wonderful guests today. We have Miss Christina of Blue Sage. Come on to the mic for us, Christina. YouTube Council, you're going to have to get up on it. All right, so Miss Christina, you are the owner of Blue Sage Boutique here in Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
And Mr. Council Rudolph the third. You make sure to I had to know that part. Make sure you put that 3 on there. You are the owner of Higherhustle clothing line here also in Tampa, Florida. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
All right, welcome. So today we're talking about a couple different things. We're talking about chakras. We're talking about black love. We're talking about just higher vibrations and your businesses and what they have been doing for the community in Tampa, Florida. So we'll start first with Christina. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Blue Sage and how you came to be where you are right now.
Okay, well, my name is Christina, and I am born and raised in Tampa, Florida.
Yep.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Are you going to do the Tampa dance?
Which one?
There are so many that I had discovered, and I'm like,
which one's your favorite?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm just still like Jersey, like, what are y'all doing? Okay, raised in Tampa, Florida. What's
Raised in Tampa, Florida, and I have 2 daughters. I'm very proud of them, and they're both in school right now, so, I'm really proud of them.
Mom.
And
Mom.
Again, my mom, 2 siblings, I have an older sister, older brother, and cousins that are like siblings as well. So, really blessed in that, and the family love. And then I'm the founder of Blue Sage Eco Boutique, which I opened back in 2013 while I was in grad school.
6 years in, girl.
Yeah,
6
6
years
years.
in. Congratulations.
6 years, thank you.
Yeah, so how did Blue Sage come about?
Well, back in 2001, I actually wanted to open and have my own boutique retail space. It didn't come to fruition, and so I started thinking what are other ways I can kind of make this dream still work.
Okay.
And so 2013 is when I decided to do a website. The idea of Blue Sage came from I worked for a previous cosmetic manufacturer, all natural, and I traveled a lot nationally, and I realized that there was a huge disconnect between wholesome, non-toxic products that you don't necessarily have to consume, and the idea of that if it is all natural, it's expensive, or it's for tree huggers that don't know quality or whatever else. So that's kind of how the idea of having eco-friendly business came along. Just from traveling and then realizing okay, some of these things are expensive. And some of them, if they just weren't the same type of quality, I guess,
that you would like.
That I would like.
Yes.
And so that's literally how it began, and it's just developed into what it is now.
Okay, so at Blue Sage, which I do shop at, I come in and I stack up because I need my chakra candles.
She knows exactly where everything is.
I was like, look, I want this. And I'm only in there for 5 minutes.
That's it.
I'm in there for 5 minutes because I am coming from Riverview now, but it's I stack up and I'll be back in a couple months. But you have the chakra crystals, which I am just such a firm believer in that system. And so when I saw that and I discovered, I was so excited. But you have other scents. So I see one right now you have lit in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You can lift it up so everybody can see. The camera's right there. But what line are you promoting right now this fall?
This is called Enchanted. I've had this scent, I think for a couple of years.
Okay. And
it's a seasonal scent.
Okay.
So I only made 1 batch this time.
Okay.
And that's going to be it for the season.
So that's the last one?
No, it's not the last one. I have, I just literally made them this week.
Okay. So I can stack up a little bit.
Stack up on them.
Don't
be all right.
Come take mine. All right. So
put it aside for you.
Thank you. Just keep them. Okay. So now, Council, tell us about you, Mr. the Third, and how you got to Higherhustle Clothing.
Born and raised in Tampa.
Okay.
I'm the third. I was thinking about over the last few years, people ask me these questions, and it never occurred to me until I got older. But I always liked my father's sense of style. It was very simple, but still very classy. So I always kind of kept that with me. Going into high school, there was a group of friends that we had talked about, about having a clothing line and stuff like that. Then I went to FAM, and that kind of I met a few people there that were actually doing it and, you know, living their dreams. So I, you know, kind of, they put me under their wing, and I learned about that, and I learned from the business side as well. Came back to Tampa, still wanted to work on it. So I worked late night jobs, and I was still focused on that. Starting to read a little bit more, you know, about higher self and things like that. So, you know, after a few ideas and whatnot, it came to me, and I tell everybody, like, if you're looking for a name, or just don't rush it, it's going to come to you.
So, right to you. Yep.
That's so true.
And yeah, so that happened with the logo, and then also with Higherhustle clothing. So it's been something that's been a good expression for me as well, and I've met a lot of great people from the brand and everything as well. So.
Okay, perfect. So the reason I brought up Chakras was because of you, and the higher vibrations and everything was because Higherhustle. I figured it was a vibe. It was a whole vibe. I figured that much. So how did you guys meet? Because another topic that we're going to be discussing today is Black love. So how did y'all meet? Y'all both born and raised in Tampa. Y'all went to college or high school together?
So we actually went to 7th grade together.
Oh, y'all go way back.
Yeah. Well, so he never would speak to me though.
Oh, dang, Council, why you do this? Why you? Council looking at us like, oh, y'all
actually
going back.
found, like, what was that, 3 years or so ago? I was like going through like my stuff. I found a letter that I wrote to my good friend back. I was like, oh, T is so fine. Da 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 da. I had to take a picture and show it to him. He didn't pay me no mind. Then back then he didn't pay me any mind. And then we were both when we were in high school. I went to Gaither, Big Blue. He went to Hillsborough High School.
Ooh, I like that shoe because I always do it to people where I'm like, dismiss.
It has people from Hillsborough High School. They just feel like
it's a rivalry, I guess.
It's not
even a rivalry. It's not even, because
not even
ours was like another high school. I don't even know what theirs. Oh, who theirs?
Shade. Okay, continue.
But we were in this program called Granville Academy.
Okay.
One of our good friends' grandfather, he started this organization for John Harrell.
Okay.
I wasn't going to put his name out there, but okay, Mr. John Harrell.
Hey, Mr. John.
And it was called Granville Academy, and it was for Black students, entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And so literally, like, what was it, 4 years we were in this program?
Yeah.
And we were the first class, and so we were in that together as well. So that's how we saw each other again in high school. But then we didn't bump into each other until, 5 years ago, I was vending Blue Sage at a poetry event, and he was there. I don't know why he was there. Why were you there, babe?
Business opportunity.
Okay.
Okay.
So I walk in, and it's a poetry event. Right?
Okay.
So,
it was Phil's poetry event too.
Yeah,
What's up, Phil?
Yeah, what's up, Phil? Rattling the house.
Okay.
So I walk in, and you never know the climate of what you're walking into, especially when it's poetry, right? It could be funny, it could be sensual, it could be right?
very deep.
And this was.
I walk in and I see her. I'm like, oh man, like I haven't seen you in like forever.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, hey, how are you? I'm coming in strong. I'm like, hey, you remember me? I'm Council, and she's just like, I'm like, okay, well maybe I'm just gonna go sit down. But then later on, she was saying that she was still focusing on
the work part,
the work part, and I didn't know that, so I was just looking at the initial, like, what's going on with it? You know, so that was our reintroduction.
Okay.
There.
Well, I had just finished crying.
Oh.
Because the person that was the poet, what she was very deep.
Yeah.
And so he comes up to me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that was the face.
Yeah. But I will say, once I saw his eyes, because mind you, last time I saw him, he had hair on his head, no hair on his face, and you know what I mean?
It's a shock. It's a shock.
It's the complete opposite. He has
it
no
is flipped. Yeah, no. And now you got this. You know. Okay, Council, you switched it up real good on her. Come
exactly.
On. You
Thank you.
did.
So, but even then, it was like a few months. It was actually when I get back from Ethiopia, which we can talk about that when we talk about manifestations and things like that.
All right, let's do
it.
So that's how y'all met. So I want to actually go back to the program that you guys met in, because I'm always all about entrepreneurship, and especially when we have great programs in our communities. And do you feel like those programs still even exist now in Tampa, Florida? Or in the Hillsborough County schooling, St. Pete, any of that stuff?
I would say that they probably exist in other forms. I'm not going to take or not give anyone credit for actually doing the work that I may not know about, which I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that are planting the seeds entrepreneurship. But I think for us it was very important that that seed was planted, that we saw other entrepreneurs at a young age, and they would buy us Monopoly games, they would buy us briefcase and stuff like that. So, and they would have entrepreneurs that
so they really downloaded a lot of good information and
we even had like competitions of like stock. So like they taught us how to like read the stock. It was a newspaper back then. But like how to read like the stock market and like we could invest. What was it, like $5 or something like that? It was very minimal. But also too, Miss Tawanda Bradley. I don't know if y'all are familiar with her. She was part of Granville Academy as well, and she was really pivotal for the young black women in this academy.
So that's really great, because I want everybody to understand that for Goddess Talk especially, we're talking about not just loving each other, but how can we educate each other and where we can really pull our younger generation still forward, because we're kind of losing the game right now. So that's great. So shout out that program again. What's the name of the program?
It was Granville Academy.
Oh, so
you gotta think, this is like 20 plus years ago.
So they're still trying to use their in the school system, so I'm gonna let them. So Granville Academy, but it was more of an entrepreneurship program for students, and it wasn't just for one school. It was encompassing the whole Tampa area, probably. Okay, cool. All right, so now, what time is it? Okay, we're going to be taking a break in a little bit, but what I want to focus on now is the different events that you've been going to, because honestly, the only reason I even heard about you was because I saw you at Morris Martin's first Black entrepreneurship program. It was the Black Expo, right? And you were there, and you had your clothing, and then I saw the candles, and I'm like obsessed with candles. And I was like, oh, who's selling this? And he was like, yeah, my girlfriend. And I was like, where is she? Because he was selling it, but it was like, you could tell he was really focused on his stuff. And then I was like, I fell in love with the candles, and then I just like had to show up. And I met your daughter that day. Because remember we talked about how I just popped up on a Sunday. And it was just like, I was like, yeah, are you guys open? And he was like, yeah, we're up here for like another half hour. I was like, all right, I'll be there in 10. And I just popped up.
And you were her first lesson in visualizing and manifesting.
Because it was so weird. You told me the story afterwards. I was like, oh, that day I just woke up, I want my candles. And that was just it. I was going to get my candles. And when I looked up the time, I was just making sure somebody was going to be there. I was like, look, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. And I came in and I just bought a whole bunch of stuff and left. But then we spoke later and he told me that was her lesson. I was like, oh, that's great. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, call us at 813-444-9588. This is In Touch News, Goddess Talk. We'll be right back. You're not ready for me? But it's okay. You got it? All right. Well, it is Black Business Month at the same time, so we have been shouting out a lot of Black businesses. So when we come back, we'll shout yours out some more. But if you have any other ones you want to shout out, please feel free, okay?
All right.
I will be back. I got out too early, right?
Yeah, a little bit early. Okay. I was trying to fast forward two songs.
Oh, 2 songs?
Yeah, it was 2 songs that were playing. Because the songs is automatically playing.
Already in the background. Is it?
No, I mean, there's this thing that, as the show's recording, is like, because the program's already set to play music.
Okay, yeah. With all the promo and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I like your Green Lantern shirt. Okay. I was about to watch Aquaman last night, but I didn't feel like buying it.
I'm trying to sleep on it, like.
Okay, I'm still on the fence because I haven't watched it yet, and I was just so excited, and then it was like, I heard the reviews, and I was like, I'm trying not to let that get to me, but I felt like it got to me, because.
What did the review say?
You said it was good?
Everybody was just like,
a lot of people liked it.
Did you?
A lot of money. Yeah.
No, it's gonna make money either way.
Yeah.
But then they do like a Wonder Woman. It had Batman and Superman. I think Aquaman. They did like a whole Justice League situation afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And I still haven't watched that one either. So I'm gonna take my time this weekend and kind of go through all my superhero stuff. Cause I just saw Wonder Woman last week. I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I saw Batman vs. Superman.
I haven't seen that one yet because I just don't know how to feel. Because like I don't know. Like, did y'all see Lion King? Let's talk about that one.
No.
Okay. I'm
We've tried though a couple of times.
And it didn't work out. It's okay.
It's
It's okay. I feel like, you know what? If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Let's keep the original in our minds and in our hearts.
Yeah. Was it
just
good
wait
though?
for
Did you
Netflix
enjoy it?
or BET.
It was alright. It was alright. Meaning that I am a real Disney kid, and I wasn't a huge fan of the live action. The best live action for me is still Jungle Book.
Oh, really?
That one was really dope to me.
I fell asleep on that too.
Which one? Because you know they had two come out. There's Mowgli, and then there's the other one.
Mowgli's the one I fell asleep on.
Okay, so Mowgli, yeah, that one takes a little bit, but the other Lion King, you like,
Wait,
oh wow.
Okay.
You should check that one. Yeah, the Jungle Book.
Okay.
No, just the Jungle Book.
Just the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch the Jungle Book. Mulan is coming out though now.
Because that's completely different. It's people. You know, you don't have to
I'm
worry
ready for
about
that
animals.
one. She gonna kick somebody, and I'm just be like, Mushu. I want to see how they're gonna do Mushu. I just feel like I just don't know if it's gonna be like a spirit guide, like voices for her, or physically a Mushu.
Oh, that
But they can do CGI though.
cool.
Huh?
They can do CGI.
That's it, CGI.
Yeah, which I guess. All right, here we go.
Back on.
Welcome back to Goddess Talk. This is Balaji. We are here with Miss Christina Arenas of Blue Sage Boutique and Mr. Council of Higherhustle Clothing, correct? Perfect. All right, so before the break, we were talking about a couple things. Christina and Council introduced themselves, talk about their upbringing in Tampa. How is it being from Tampa? Because a lot of people, you know, you guys grew up here, born and raised, and went to college here. You did.
I went to college here.
Oh.
He went to town. Like, he's making that very...
He was like, no, I didn't. I stepped out. So what school did you go to?
Florida A&M University. I'm a proud rapper, so in Tallahassee.
It's still in Florida, though.
Yeah, but it's not Tampa.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That was my up north person not realizing the different areas, you
Yeah.
know. But you went to school in Florida, so you
Yes.
stayed local
I did,
enough
yeah.
for the state, even though it's like 3 hours drive.
4 hours.
Florida is big, first of all.
It is.
I want to say that. It may take me 2.5 hours to really get from the bottom of Jersey to the top, but I'm not doing that 4-hour drive. Like, I can't. But how was it growing up in Tampa? Do you feel like it's still the same Tampa, or has it changed for you guys, you know, as you guys have grown and started businesses? Do you still see the same faces? What is the entrepreneurship life like in Tampa?
This is 2 questions.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
break it down.
So I'll say I was born and raised in Odessa, so I was
Okay.
born like in the rural part
Okay.
of Tampa,
Okay.
which that swiftly changed by the time I got to high school.
Okay.
Like, we didn't even have a grocery store in
Okay.
SOS, like,
Okay.
at first. And how it is now is definitely developed, which is awesome.
Mhm.
That is a pretty cool thing that
Mhm.
Tampa is now becoming the metropolitan city that I know many of the mayors previously and many entrepreneurs and business owners want it to be.
Mhm.
Like, what, we get the 3rd Super Bowl coming in the next year or
Mhm.
whatever, in like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I will say, like, that's awesome. I will say that I do believe that it might be a little oversaturated with some
Okay.
things,
Okay.
and that can cause some difficulties.
Yeah, because I'll say the word gentrification is very real right now
It is.
in the Tampa Bay area that
It
I've
is.
seen. Because even where you're located,
Mhm.
shout out your street address for your location, please.
6202 North Central Avenue. That's Tampa, 33604 in the heart of Seminole Heights.
All right, so that's Seminole Heights. And again, being from outside looking in, I thought it was a cute area. I was like, okay, Seminole Heights. But then I was just told it was just not us over there for the most part. It's become very developed and gentrified to the point now they're kind of pushing businesses, even like yours, out of the way.
Yes.
Okay. So you've been there now how many years? Almost 6 years?
Oh, no. We've
Okay.
only been the brick and mortar for 2.
Okay.
But I've been in business 6 years. He's been in business for, what, over 10 years. So.
And you guys work together in the same location, correct?
Yes.
Because I come in there and I see your stuff and I buy your stuff. I'll buy a couple, the long,
It's the dress.
the dresses. I had a couple of those ones. I had the big Africa on there. I'm repping till the day I die. So I saw it and you had the RBG. I was like, okay, look at this. Go ahead, Council. But what about you with Tampa? How does it feel to you from where you grew up to now?
Well, my experience is kind of bittersweet in a way. My father, first of all, one of my chief inspirations was my father, being an entrepreneur. He was a professional athlete, then he transitioned over. So I knew him more as being an entrepreneur than I did him knowing as an athlete, which was weird in a way, because then other people that were alive when he was playing, you know, they were like, oh, he was a great, and I was like, okay, because he stopped playing when I was born.
Yeah.
I mean, injuries and whatnot. But he had a check cashing business.
Okay.
He had one out there on Causeway and 78th Street, and another one on Nebraska, between Nebraska and Cass Street. And I would work there in the summertime, and when I was in between working or going to school, I would all work in the business. Okay. So my sister would work in the business, I would work there, you know. But some of the changes that occurred down in Central Park area, it definitely impacted my father's business because as the gentrification was going on, a lot of his customers who would come in and cash checks and things like that, they slowly started to dwindle down further and further away. Even at some point, he said, I'm just leaving the business open. I'm not even making any money right now. I'm just leaving the business open so people can come in and pay their bills.
And still see you, still have that part of the community.
We had an MCI coming in, so we had a lot of different things, so it was a blessing that he was retired. But that was one of the first things that I saw, because for years, you know, I would see the activity that was outside and everything like that, so I saw it to dwindle. So it was bittersweet in a way, but I think now there's a lot more opportunities, but at the same time, sometimes it is saturated where, I mean, because of the opportunities, you have a lot of people that are playing Chiefs and not enough Indians in a way. It's good and bad. You know, I guess you have to try it and then kind of, you know, fill your position there. But just seeing how the city is expanding and kind of coming together, I like the vision. The opportunities are there. You know, if we align together. But at the same time, you know, we still have this nostalgia. We're driving down different parts of Tampa, like that wasn't there when we were here. That wasn't here, and all those people are rollerblading now. Like this was a dangerous part of town when we were growing up, and now they're, you know, you know, now they're you know, walking their dogs and jogging.
Harlem.
Like,
all that. I'm like, you couldn't walk down this. What you mean?
Yeah. So, you know, and I was in Harlem earlier this year, so I saw some of the similarities there. So, you know, it's bittersweet.
Yeah. Okay. So now, I want to talk about just vibrations, because for your particular clothing line, you were talking about, you know, higher self, higher knowledge, all those things. So explain that to us, the viewers especially. How do you get into that? You know, because you had to have had some kind of awakening for you that's like you want to kind of infuse that into the community. So talk about that.
I think when I went to FAM, it kind of expanded me to a lot of different people from a lot of different places. It was almost like I was able to travel but still stay in the same spot, because I would talk with people from DC and Cali and everywhere else and kind of just go there. There was a few teachers there with me going to a HBCU. It was really beneficial for me because it was kind of an extension of Hillsborough, where it was a tight-knit group of people that really cared about you. And so I went to FAM and met a few people up there and friends. Dr. Denard, one of them, he had an African-based center school, him and his wife. And he's actually from St. Pete, so that made a connection even more grounded there. But just finding out more about myself, you know, they say seek and you shall find. So with that, me being seeking, you know, I met people and read books and stuff like that. So it was really just like an expression of my progression in a way. You just being your best self, and even if it's something just day by day, you know, just being your best self before Rudolph came out with his song.
You had to throw that in.
Yeah, I did. He's from Florida too. So, So.
For us especially, we always want to definitely just, you know, always empower the black man. So for you, could you talk about what that knowledge of self really looked like? Because a lot of our men struggle to even come to that, even wanting to even get to that part. So were there any particular books that you would like to drop and recommend to anybody?
One of them was the autobiography of Malcolm X. Was one of the first ones. Okay. Not a black author per se, but Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the first books that I got off my father's bookshelf that he probably read a long time ago, not knowing that I would pick it up. Water and Spirit by Dr. Somay. He's in Orlando.
Okay. Local person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a few books there. Kind of opened my mind up and answered a lot of questions that I was asking myself.
Okay, cool. So now, Christina. All right, we're going to talk about the chakras.
Okay.
So, just give us a basic just knowledge of it, and then explain how you have used that with your candles. We're probably going to go to the break while you're talking about that, but just let's start with that part. So, what's the chakras? What are they? Because most people are like, oh, we hear it, but we don't know.
So basically what chakras are energy wells in our body, right? Aligning our body, right? And so we have 7 main ones that go from our root, our base of our spine to the crown of our head. And the idea, of course, is for them to be spinning and balanced. I guess that's not a better word. Vibration. If it's spinning too fast or too slow, sluggish or overactive, we exhibit different type of, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, even spiritual reactions. Yeah, thank you. So the idea is to have them balanced, and each one, of course, has its own property, right? So our root, which is at the base of our spine, of course, is like security, protection, stability. It's almost kind of, is it called Haslow's or Maslow's? Maslow, hierarchy of needs. So it's kind of, if you think about it in that sense, like if you feel secure and protected, right, then you've met that, right, and then it goes all the way up, like your sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, brow, crown, all that, all
and
that
of course,
good stuff.
So I want to also, especially because a lot of people, they see the gay pride rainbow and think that's, no, the chakras were the original, just the color system, if you want to use that, but those colors really are what we are. The root is red, the sacral is orange, then you have the solar, which is solar plexus, which is yellow, green for the heart, the blue is the throat, then we have indigo for the brow, and then the crown is our purple or violet. So a lot of people have just misrepresented that, I feel.
Right.
So now with Blue Sage, you have a set of chakra candles, and I'm just so in love with it because you actually put stones in them too.
I do.
I love
Pocket
stones.
full of stones.
Yes.
Yeah, so that line, that collection actually took me a year.
To come up with
to get the scents correct, to get the crystals, the right ones for that. Because I also too, let's say for instance, you're working on your root chakra, right?
Oh, yes.
But yet you're not necessarily.
I'm in my solar plexus right now.
Okay, well, your solar plexus. Let's say you're working on your solar plexus, but when you get to the shop or when you smell it, it's not the scent that you're drawn to.
Yeah.
But you might be drawn to the sacral one. So what I did was I used crystals and scents that could kind of interchange between a few of them.
Yes.
So that way, even if you're working on another one, you can still get the same properties by using a different candle.
Okay, so we're going to take our next break. If you want to call in, 813-444-9588. This is Guys Talk on In Touch News. All right, perfect. You feel comfortable? You good?
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit more about that because the stones, a lot of people they have a misconception about stone. And of course the chakras, this witchcraft is this. So I want to kind of just give the fact that these were our beliefs before any kind of colonization and other religious beliefs. So
you can talk about how your mom knows.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
okay, yeah. So absolutely, you can pull any story into it. But you said you wanted to mention something. Let me make sure I write it down.
What did I want to mention?
You said you wanted to talk about. Yeah, you see how quickly we just can switch. What was it? Can I go back on the feed? I found it already. Who can remind me? I have some friends. Okay, so Lachelle is watching. Hi, Lachelle. Hey, Sam. Hey, Holly. How are you doing? Hey, Tasha. How y'all doing? Just giving us a shout out real quick. I'm trying to remember. It was something so important. Open in the comments. Oh, wait. If y'all remember what she said she wanted to talk about, please drop it in the comments. I have a friend, she says she'll watch it. Huh? No, she just talked about her mom. I'm gonna put that down, but there was something else.
You'll tell us when.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, the music will sound in my ear. But counsel, what I'll probably have you also talk about, have you been involved in any community activities specifically when it comes to men or boys within the community?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that recent or just like?
That was probably.
That maybe like 2 years ago.
Okay. But you can shout out just the different stuff, whatever it is. But let me see. We're back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Goddess Talk with Balaji, and our special guests today are Miss Christina Arenas of Blue Sage Echo Boutique and Counsel Rudolph III of Higherhustle Clothing. Hi guys.
Hey.
What's up? What's up? So before we left on the break, we're talking about the chakras. So we went through the base of the spine to our crown. But let's talk about how this is our original system as an original people. It's not witchcraft, there's none of that. This is facts that we can track that through history. So talk a little bit about just the chakras. You said you wanted to talk about your mom.
So, I just glad you mentioned this. So, one of the things that a lot of people who aren't familiar with just spirituality,
Yeah.
I'll say that too, and just being in touch with the earth, and intuition, and meanings of things, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of dismiss it.
Yeah.
They think it's associated with something negative, right? So a lot of people will come into the shop and they'll say, well, what is this? You know, this is voodoo, or this is this. Well, you know, what would Jesus think about that, or something like that,
Yep.
you know? And I realized, like, we're all in different growth, different journeys at different times, right? So something that sparked me to kind of dig in deeper might have happened a lot sooner than it did for somebody else,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So I explained to them, listen, it's all created from the earth. Everything has its purpose. Everything has energy, right? That's made.
Yeah. We are just
Right.
walking energy.
That's all we are, right? And that we're made by the Creator. So it has a purpose for not only us, but other living things that
Uses.
belong, right?
Yeah.
Use these things. So my mother is a devout Pentecostal woman, and it has been amazing to have her not only embrace what we do at the shop, but that she works there as well. And one of the coolest things happened maybe about after we had been open at the brick and mortar for 6 months. She was talking to a customer that came in, and I heard her explaining crystals and explaining sage and the benefits of it. So like that, to me, I'm like, if my mom can get it and she benefits from it, anybody can.
Okay, so talk about the kind of crystals you're using, because I know a couple of them.
Yeah.
I'm just so obsessed with them. But I know within your root chakra, I believe you have garnet.
I have garnet.
Yes.
And the sacral citrine.
Okay.
Solar plexus, sunstone, heart, rose quartz, throat, which is I named it Om. I have aquamarine. The brow, third eye, I have sodalite, and then the crown chakra, I have amethyst.
Okay. So which stone for a basic person who doesn't know what they want? Because a lot of people want to get into it, but they don't know. Because I remember you were probably my introduction to stones, and I was like, I want to find a location where I could go buy it. And you sent me to a couple different places. But then I know there is a local person, black owned, that you've been promoting recently. A couple of my friends like, yo, B, have you heard about this place? So tell us about our local crystal shop.
So her name is Paula. She's the owner and founder of Chakra Zulu Crystals, but she is located off of North Florida Avenue. A beautiful space. Definitely go out there and check it out. She is open from Tuesday to Saturday. From 11 to 6. It's right by Hillsborough High School. It is.
All right. So now,
People that don't know, I mean, it's right behind the baseball fields.
okay. I don't know. I would have Googled it, and if it came up on maps, I would have found it. That's how I would have found it. But talk about your crystals, because again, from your bio that you showed me, it's like you also infuse it with not just love, but also magic. So what kind of good energy are you putting into these your products, but just into your space, your life, and all those. So talk about that.
So one of the things when I first started making candles, and I found out the hard way, if my energy's not right, if I'm not feeling good, just stop.
Yeah.
Even if it takes a couple of days and I'm behind, because I will end up messing up. Meaning like the candle won't pour right, I'll spill stuff everywhere, like, and I have spilled 3 pounds of wax everywhere. So, you know, making sure that you're in a good space, of course, is very important. One of the crystals that it's like my go-to crystal because it's so easy and it does so much is selenite.
Okay.
Selenite for anyone that wants to Google that.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
That was the first one that I got from you. Yeah.
And
it was
I
my
tell
first
everybody,
one.
like, if you're new to the crystal game, like, start out there.
Yeah.
Like, don't start picking out all these things because if you don't know their benefits and their power, like,
you're just messing yourself up.
You might mess up.
Yeah.
You know, mess up. You know, it's all relative. But yeah, start out
With selenite.
selenite and then work your way up as you start growing.
And what are the benefits of selenite? You can tell people.
So I like that it cleanses your aura. It also has the ability to remove stagnant energy. It also, like for me, how I got introduced to it, I used to have trouble sleeping. So
I still do. Even though I had the selenite, I still do.
It's on your nightstand?
It is, right next to me.
Huh.
Right next to me. But I'm literally like the moon child. Like I'm up the whole time, wide awake, doing work. Me and the moon, we just be blinking and just
But
what's
do you
up.
sleep during the day?
I do.
Okay.
But then, but me and the sun, like I can be outside all day, just literally just taking all that energy in. So I'm a cusp baby. So literally, I literally work with both energies.
The cusp of
April, Aries into Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Council was like, whoa. Yeah, there's a lot of energy over here. And just my birth story is just literally, my mom said it, that I was born during a crazy storm in Nigeria, but born into the peace of the day. So I literally know the evening and the daytime at the same moment. It's so crazy. So my energy is all that.
Huh.
It's so weird.
I'm a cusper of Aquarius and Pisces,
Okay.
so I'm like 95% Pisces.
Yeah, I have my Aries days.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Aries days. But so selenite is right. I have like 2 of them, big ones now probably. You have a huge one.
Yeah,
The
at the
big
shop,
block.
but
Yeah.
you notice it's getting smaller
Yeah.
and smaller each time.
Yeah.
But we have selenite at all of our points of entry, at the shopping, at the house, also on our windows, like all of that.
I have crystals like all 4 corners of each room almost, just to kind of pull that energy in. All right, so that's what you've done. So now let's switch also to another reason we brought you guys here, which is about Black love. What does that mean to you personally, and what do you feel that means to you as a human?
So,
Yeah.
I think Black love is just first loving yourself, loving yourself from the inside out, just being proud of everything that makes who you are.
Yeah.
I think Black love is just an extension of that. Because if you, as corny as it sounds, if you can't love yourself, you really can't fully love somebody else. Because even if you love somebody else and you're pouring all them into you, then you're wondering like, where's my piece of the pie? I want the same thing. I didn't ask you to do this. So a lot of times people do that looking for reciprocation where it starts with yourself. So that's where it all starts from there. And even in just tying in like the chakras, I think one of the major chakras that people look over is the heart chakra. People leap to the third eye because they're like, oh, I want to find out all this stuff and whatnot. It's almost like you're driving in like a Bugatti, but you don't know how to drive stick shift, or you don't know how to control the car, right? So it can crash. But if you have the heart chakra, it's like you're still being guided by your heart. So going back to Black love, you want to be guided by your heart and just kind of be easy with yourself and your partner and everything else, because we're all growing together. Nobody has it figured out. If we were all perfect, then life wouldn't be fun. It'd be just like, it'd be dope. So that's a little bit of mine. One story that I would like to share with you all is like, I don't want to get the number wrong, but it was at a celebration of my parents' anniversary. I believe it was 30 years, I believe 25, something like that. But my father's well known in the community. He did football, business or whatnot. And one thing I didn't notice until that dinner was my mom she would be taking us to my sister to ballet practice and me to baseball practice and, you know, everything else. And he was still an entrepreneur and he was still doing his thing. So we would hear him when the garage opens in the morning and he leaves. And then we would see him later that night when, you know, we're about to finish dinner. Not that he wasn't there, he was very much there, but one of the people that were there thanked my mom, said, I want to thank you for allowing him to be who he is. And I thought that was so impactful because a lot of times our partners don't allow us to be who we are. You know, and sometimes we have that resentment, like, oh, I wish I could have done this.
Yeah.
I felt like this person was holding me back. But, you know, when you have a partner that allows you to be who you are, you know, then you can fully bloom and you're happy within yourself and then you're happy within the relationship as well. Not that it's perfect, but, you know, you're feeling better because you're, you know what I'm saying, walking your path. So that's kind of, I see my parents as an example of black love, you know, and business, family, and everything else involved as well. So.
Okay. You mentioned something. I'm glad you brought that story because I literally pre-rolled this in the car. And for Black Love, I put in acceptance there because accepting your partner and accepting yourself. A lot of people can't do that. And then, of course, you want to kind of tell the person what you want them to do, but you haven't accepted yourself to even accept them. So thank you for that story. But now, Christina, what's Black Love to you, and what do you feel like it is for you as a unit?
So, I'm going to quote Nipsey Hussle, which is, you know, you can't possess people, you experience them, right? And prior to us dating, I went on like a strict, like, I'm not dating anybody. I was in grad school. I said, you know what, I'll start dating when I get back from Ethiopia. And
that was what you were trying to talk about.
Oh,
Ethiopia.
well,
Okay, thank you. I'll write it down now. Ethiopia.
But, you know, and then literally the week I came back from Ethiopia is when we started dating.
Okay.
But we experienced each other. You know, I definitely have my flaws, and I know he knows he has his as well.
Yeah.
But we have a very, I would have to say, I'll speak for myself, I feel like we have a very healthy relationship. It's the first relationship in my adult life to where, like, we'll have disagreements. We don't have arguments. You know, we don't put each other down. We talk about it. It's a pleasant experience. You know, it's very mature, and I appreciate him as the man that he is, or he was 4 years ago, that he is today, and that he will be in the future. You know, and just to kind of piggyback.
No, come on.
So my parents got a divorce when I was 13. I'm the youngest of three, and I remember that time. I felt like both of my parents just felt like they were just like doing the worst thing ever, is divorcing. For whatever reason, I think I took their divorce very well. And I think I took their divorce very well because they were very mature in their separation. I never to this date have ever heard either one of my parents say anything extremely negative about each other. They always, you know, they still get along. We were having vacations with each other up until maybe like 10, 15 years ago, you know, so that to me is also black love. Like, yes, we were together when we were in high school, we were married for 20 some years, but it's not working out. But we can still love each other. Separated, right, through our differences and through our separation.
I just talk about all the little things I wrote in the car because a big thing I feel like a lot of people miss. You talk about the heart chakra being the most important, or one of the most important. I feel like the throat is so
communication.
Important. Communication, because that is a big blockage for a lot of us because we can't apologize sometimes, or we don't even know how to even talk about what we're dealing with sometimes.
It's not even just communication. It is comprehension. Yeah, but listen and understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So early in our relationship, we did do the love language quiz.
I just had somebody do that today. I'm one of those girls. I am one of those girls.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Let's do this. Take this. I had my daughters do it too. Like the four of us did it
like she gave me a
together.
homework assignment. Like, here, take this quiz.
Have you had a natal chart exam? Have you had a natal chart reading yet?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
What date, time, location were you
I'm
born?
asking my mom, what time was I born again?
She was like, what? Okay, so we're going to take a break. Oh, we done talked through the break, so we'll be right back, all right?
I was going to add, like, friendship is...
Oh, yeah.
Because we were friends beforehand.
without smacking each other, pushing his head. You're like, back it up.
Oh, you have no idea what I'm doing at this table.
Kick it over.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I think I'm
I'm gonna lie. He's a lion right now. He has his crown together.
I
He
look
got the
like, do I
root.
talk right now? Even when she was talking, she looked over me like, sit up there.
It's the mom in you.
But I didn't do that. He is
I
exaggerating.
am exaggerating.
Okay.
My delivery is like,
And I'm saying that's the thing too. Like,
Everybody, yeah. But that's what works. Because what are you? What sign are you? Are you a January or February?
February.
oh, it's a difference.
A huge
It
difference.
is. I'm
So-
a February.
February what?
5th.
I'm done. Today is over. It's over. I'm done.
Why?
I'm literally.
Tell it.
We'll talk.
Okay.
When the camera's on.
Okay.
So you know the funny thing is,
What?
the guy at work, we share the same birthday.
Uh-huh.
So when we talk, we have a
Similarity. Yeah.
unspoken understanding
Mhm.
of how we communicate. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay, you understand.
Twin.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
so Bobby Brown and Karen,
Uh huh.
we're going on February 5th as
So I'm gonna tell you
King of
something.
R&B. Remember? So you can get there.
This is what made me like realize like this is my man.
Uh
When I found out his birthday.
Uh-huh.
So his birthday is the same day that my great grandfather Charlie.
huh. Hey, this is Goddess Talk with Balaji. How y'all doing today? Welcome. We have our great guest today. We have Christina from Blue Sage Eco. See, I have the Echo is my other way. So Eco Boutique, and we have Council for our Higherhustle clothing. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So before the break, we were talking about just a couple different things when it comes to Black love. But you were talking about your parents divorcing and understanding that communication. I mentioned that communication I feel is a big thing for us. But you mentioned comprehension, because some people just listen just to react
To
and
respond,
to
yeah.
respond
Mhm.
versus let me take this in, let me reflect on this, let me really marinate this whatever you just said and not be offended by it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because a lot of people get offended because you sometimes will put a mirror to
Mhm.
them. And I had a great conversation with a friend recently, and it was just like the mirror, and I was like, it's so funny you keep talking about that mirror. I actually appreciate the mirror. A lot of people can't look at the ugly side of that. So within your relationship, you have to do the work personally to be able to come together to do the work together.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're still doing the work
Yeah.
personally and together. Like
Yeah.
it's to me it's daily growth.
Yeah.
You know?
And you mentioned something especially, and I think a lot of people have this misconception. They think that love can and always will be forever, but sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
And having that growth within yourself to be like, you know what, we had this incredible space together, we loved, we cared, we grew, and then guess what? I still truly love you, but I don't feel like we need to go on this journey together still.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know how to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about that, because you guys, of course, you're in the now and you're blissfully happy, which I love. You know, you guys are good right now. You're happy, right? Council, you're happy, right?
Oh yes, I am. Yes. No, I am. I joke.
I kid.
You're like biting his nails
Like,
like
I'm gonna get you later. But you guys also run business together. Has that increased, your relationship? You talked about friendship. Like, talk about those things and how that works with you.
I don't have any kids. I don't have any
Mhm.
kids. So with us opening the business, like we were
2 years.
like 2 years, right? So
a little over 2
we
years.
were together for 2 years. We did this thing called the weekends,
Mhm.
right? So this thing called Saturday and Sunday, when
Mhm.
people are off and go out
Enjoy
and
each other.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we did stuff like that. When the shop came, so I kind of liken the shop as a baby. So we were our first year. We were there every day.
Hold on,
like-
a baby that no one else wants to babysit.
Oh yeah. Nobody wanted to babysit it. Like,
Nobody wants to
Who's
babysit.
gonna work
Come
today?
visit,
Drawstrings.
I gotta go.
But it was almost, and it doesn't happen as much now because
Mhm.
we are able to take some weekends off.
Mhm.
But
Thanks to Francisco.
I would
Thank
literally wake up, and truthfully I would ask, what is today?
What's today?
What's today? Like, because people that work 9 to 5,
Mhm.
you definitely know it's Friday.
Yeah.
You definitely know Saturday. You know you're getting sad on Sunday. You know, because Monday's back around. But I think it was just another challenge for our relationship to grow and to understand how two creative people create in their own space. Because I create different than she creates.
I need execute differently than she. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think we learn from each other as well. We continue to learn from each other. But I think that was one of the things as far as us adding that business component there. It was, you know, we share a lot of ups and downs together. You know, so I think tying that in as well. You know, and I think all of that is underlined by friendship. I think which is so important to have, because if you have a tried and true good friend, you know, you may not speak to that person for a day or two, but you're not like, you know, throwing them out to them and say, I'm never going to talk to that person again. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the thing that I learned as far as us just being in business together and just focusing on how we can make a collective together. And I think we've, you know, one of the byproducts of us having the shop is that not necessarily the sales, but seeing how we've affected people's lives, like how our candles have affected people's lives, and the sage and everything like that. And sometimes we're like, we should just open up like a counseling shop on the side or something or whatnot, you know, because, and honestly, it is a place of healing. So I like that we have that space there that helps people out.
You mentioned friendship. Now, a lot of people forget that part, because I just had a great conversation with a friend of mine today where he was great friends with the woman that he, you know, was in love with, but then they got into a relationship and the friendship part kind of got forgotten, right? And that's where he felt that that's probably where things broke apart. But continuing to still, not just date, but still be friends, still enjoy each other, do all those things. Do you feel that that is really, truly important for us? Because a lot of people just think like, yeah, you can be friends with anybody. No, you have to be friends with your partner.
You treat your friends, and let's be real, like, real friends, not acquaintances, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like, when someone's your friend, there's a mutual respect.
Yeah.
You don't want to let them down. You know, you want to be their friend. They
Respect
want
boundaries.
to be your right. So you're going to do what it takes to make it work, right?
Yeah.
I said what it takes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But honestly, he's being PC about, like, the shop. That first year was hell. And I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, it was a rough first year of us having that shop.
Yeah.
And we had to take a step back and really realize, like, what's more important, you know, this business or our relationship. And our relationship was more important.
Yeah.
And so we had to make adjustments, and we're still making adjustments now. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, I applaud anybody who can work with their partner, because he's still working full time. His 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
I left mine in October.
Yeah.
So we were working 7 days a week. That's not even including just working the shop. That's also creating our product.
Yes.
That's also marketing.
All that.
That's also everything else in the back end.
Family.
And family
Yes.
on top of that.
Yes.
You know, he mentioned that he doesn't biologically have children, but he is a great father figure to my daughters. You know, he came in when they were in high school.
Yeah.
So it's a lot,
Yeah.
and it's still a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, we're pushing through it. So.
And you mentioned it's still continuing, because a lot of people feel like, oh, once you kind of have that niche, like that's it.
No.
I think that's where you get stagnant.
Yes.
I think it's a niche, and then, you know, just continue growth every day. You know, just because if you continue to look for things that how can I help grow or learn something new, or what challenges are there that are going to teach me, you know, I think that helps from you being stagnant.
Okay. So we're coming to the end of the show. I want you guys to take a moment to talk again. Mention your business, how people can find you, website, Instagram, phone number, and location. And then if you want to shout out any other businesses that you work with, it is Black Business Month. You know, it's just amazing that you guys. I love you guys so much. So thank you guys for coming. But drop your information real quick.
Okay. Blue Sage Eco Boutique. You can find us at 6202 North Central Avenue. That's in Seminole Heights, off of Central and Hannah. Website blue-sageboutique.com. Instagram at Blue Sage Boutique. Facebook.com Blue Sage Eco Boutique.
All right. So that's all the information you need. Go ahead, counsel.
You can find me at Higherhustle Clothing on Instagram, Facebook, higherhustle.com. Have 2 2 fashion shows coming up in October.
Okay.
Just joined yesterday. One on the 13th of October, then one on the 15th of October. Not sure the one on the 13th. Sam is throwing it, but Strive for a Cause is in their 5th year. They focus on breast cancer awareness. That Sunday they're having a weekend event of that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, perfect. So again, this is Goddess Talk. We've had Blue Sage Boutique, aka Christina, and Higherhustle Clothing, aka Mr. Council. But thank you guys for coming. You've been a blessing to us. But are there any other businesses that you want to talk about? The crystal shop.
So we talked about Paula Zulu, her partner Camille, Smudge Life.
Okay.
She has a black market, melanated market, every other month called Indie Noir.
Okay.
The next one is September 14th. It's
Okay.
a night market, so this one's for adults only.
Okay.
Nova Kane will be the host for that one. It's from 7 to 10.
Okay.
Who else do we need to? Oh,
Next Level with Morris Martin. He's having an event. We'll be out of town, but he has an event on Friday or Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
Shout out also to Derek Priest.
All right, perfect. So, one more. real
okay,
quick.
sorry. Pharaoh's Cutting Lounge and Braiding.
Okay.
They're off of Fletcher, right next to the Taco Bus.
Okay.
They typically have an event, at least like Rum and Drums,
Mhm.
like every other Friday night.
Okay.
Super fun, a lot of high vibes.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah,
But
check out
so
Nanny
y'all
and
send
Pharaoh.
me all these things, and I'll make sure I put it in there.
Absolutely.
But you guys have tuned in again to Goddess Talk. This is Balaji. Thank you all so much. You have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.